Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Resonant Culture Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This beer is called Smoked Silence, and some of you remember I've done a review for Resonant Culture before with a beer called Country Kind of Silence. So this is basically that, but it's brewed with smoked malts. That was a Helles. The description of this says lightly smoked Helles lager, 4.5 ABV. It says Munich style Helles with Applewood smoked malts. Yeah, that's it. That's the only description. I have not had this yet, so I'm pretty excited to drink it because I'm a big fan of all of the lagers that they make, and I also really like smoked beers. So we'll see. I know smoked beers can be are usually on that love-hate scale, where most people either love them or hate them. I don't know that I would... Love is probably a little strong, but I do like them as much as a lot of other styles, especially when they're done right and they don't taste like burnt rubber. So, I mean, it's definitely true in color for a Helles. Completely opaque. Opaque is the opposite. Transparent. A lighter golden color, kind of small, but a staying, fluffy white head. So I was curious because, the description on the can says lightly smoked. So lightly, is a very vague term that I think could be interpreted a lot of different ways depending on your palate and how much you like smoked malt. I get the smoked malt in this, but it's light enough where if I didn't know this was intentionally smoked, I might think that was just a quality of the beer somehow, and it wasn't attributed to that. It's definitely more noble hop forward, first and foremost, than anything else, which I appreciate. I would say their Helles are probably a little more hop forward than a traditional one. They're not to the point of like German pilsners, but I would say they're probably a little more hop forward than traditional ones. I do get the smokiness underneath, but it's pretty faint. It's definitely more of that meaty smokiness than like the burnt rubber character. So it smells really nice, and there is a little bit of like toasted bread in there too. I really like the aroma on it. Man, that is delicious. So I didn't want to say it yet because I wanted to taste it first, but this reminds me of the one brewery in Germany that's in Bamberg. It's probably the most well known for smoked beers out of any of the German breweries, at least in America. They usually were in the 500 milliliter bottles, and now they're doing cans. I always completely butcher their name, so I think it's like Echt Schretlanka. I know that's way off. But I'm guessing you probably know what I'm talking about, describing those bottles and the cans. But I think they only make 2 or 3 beers that actually have smoked malts in them, and the other beers that they make don't have smoked malts in them, but they brew them on the same equipment, and they end up tasting like obviously lighter than the ones with smoked malts, but they still end up tasting smoked as well. This kind of reminds me of that, where this is probably similar to whatever their lightest or second lightest beer is in terms of. I think they do a Helles. This reminds me of that because you do get that smoke, but it kind of tastes like it was just run through something that was brewed with smoked malts, and it itself doesn't have smoked malts in it because it is very light. I don't know. The second taste I took wasn't as light. That's by no means saying that it's a strong smoky flavor, because it's definitely not. Um, but I would say with that last taste I took, I probably wouldn't taste this without guessing that there was some sort of smoked something in this. Because it's apparent enough, but it's definitely not the star of the show. This is definitely a Helles first and foremost, with a little bit of smoked malt, and that description says that that's what it is for the most part. So they they nailed it if that's what they were trying to do, and I'm assuming that is what they were trying to do. Kind of. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily say it's better or worse than if it didn't have smoked in it. It's just another take on it. I probably like it better, just because I think it gives it a little more depth. But I could see someone maybe not wanting that, and they want something a little cleaner. But either way, it's very, very well done, and I could absolutely crush these cans. So I had Marie from Hill Farmstead not too long ago, and doesn't have smoked malt, but if you strip that little piece out of this actually tastes really similar to that, to be honest. This is a very, very well done American Helles. And I love that little tweak on this. I'm so glad that I bought this now. I was kind of teetering on it because, I was like, if it's super smoky, even if I like it, I don't know if I want a whole 4-pack. Because, even though I like smoky beers, I can't drink a lot of them. But this is like the perfect amount. I think this is, if there was such a thing as a crushable smoked beer, this is one of them. And the beers from that other German brewery, the lighter ones, those are the same way. This is really similar to that. So I think this is only like $12 for a 4-pack, so like $3 a can. At that price, this is, I would say at any reasonable price, this is definitely a buy. But at that price, for sure a buy. I hope they do some more little tweaks on their lagers like this. I think it's a really cool thing. I don't know. There's not a lot of breweries that are. There's a lot of breweries making like pilsners and stuff now, but there's definitely not a lot that are doing like smoked ones. Especially not ones that are super nuanced like this. I really appreciate that. So I'm not surprised, because Resident Culture is a great brewery, but it's another great beer from Resident Culture. I highly recommend seeking it out if you like. If you like lagers, Helles, or smoked beers, or a mixture of any of those, definitely check this out. I think that's all I got in this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.